What's up? We're back with another video, but soft-spoken because why not? But hopefully you guys are doing well. It's a nice day today, beautiful day. Sun is beaming, but the trees are covering right now. It's more of a later afternoon, but it's still nice. Nature is singing its song always, and it's beautiful every time, with all the crickets and the stillness within it all. Anyways, lately it seems like it's been like a confusing time for everyone, just people changing and I guess a lack of action, I guess you could say. But there's a mosquito on the mic. It's trying to suck out the blood of the mic, even though there's no blood in the mic. Yeah, there's not really a goal for this video. I'm just gonna be talking in this voice with y'all. I've recently just been chilling out. Work is work. Sometimes I go and hang out with friends. YouTube, obviously, be doing that. But I'm not gonna go too deep into just everyday daily life, because I don't know, it feels like something big is coming into my life. Perhaps maybe even in your life, because energy is energy, Everybody experiences energy around the same time because everything's linked up. Everything's just flowing as it is, as one being thing, whatever you want to call it. Just one consciousness flowing. Some big change is coming though. I can feel it, It's like I'm on the verge of something great, but I don't know what it is yet, and that's okay, Part of life is going through everything and experiencing everything for what it is, when it is, without knowing what it is supposed to be before you experience it. That's what's amazing. It's because no matter how small of an experience that you experience, it's always something new. Sometimes the experience can be like an experience you've experienced before, but it's not the same thing. It just reminds you of a experience you experienced, per se. Unless you're stuck in a cycle that you're trying to get out of for the better of yourself, When we're just flowing along this journey and trying to better ourselves, sometimes you can get to the point where you want to give in to the old ways that are in your past, but then you realize it's not worth going back to the past because you'd be going in reverse rather than forward. And it's not worth the energy and time to do that of what you've already done. And it didn't work. So you just keep going, accepting the new, flowing in the new, starting to become comfortable with being uncomfortable, and stillness, and just becoming okay with it. It brings a peace, overall peace, to the mind and soul when you accept the newness and become comfortable with being uncomfortable in that new space. Because it shows how much you evolved, how much you've grown, how much you've come to get to this point. You're proud of yourself, but there's still something missing, It feels like something is missing sometimes, and that's normal, It's normal to think or feel as if something is missing from you, but in truth, you are complete as you are now, perfectly imperfect. The best self you can be is perfectly imperfect. And when you try to fill your mind with more and more and add on to yourself more and more, you would start to get even more lost in chaos within your mind. Which is why when you do less and you sit in stillness more, life becomes a clear image of what is and what isn't. And sometimes you want to go back to how you were previously, but that's just you missing your old self, you missing old times, you missing old memories that weren't bettering you in any way. And that's why you have to be in the present moment and accept now for what it is. No matter how it feels, no matter what you think now. Just accept it, Be aware of your thoughts, your feelings, and emotions now, and rather than attaching to them, just let them be. Let them flow. And when you let them flow, you start to realize that you are truly free. Free from everything if you choose to be. It's the mindset that counts. It's the actions that you do in the external world that counts. It's the internal world, whether it be thoughts, feelings, and emotions. All of it counts, but in the end, it's all just a journey with and against yourself. You versus you, not you versus the world. Once you realize that it's you versus you, you realize that there is no point in battling you at all. It's just a waste of energy, waste of time. At that point, you just flow along the journey without any say or do in the journey. You just align with the best thoughts that will better yourself, and you start to see the effects and the outcomes of when you take action towards those best thoughts, highest thoughts. We can free ourselves from everyday thoughts, everyday feelings, everyday emotions, everyday actions when we step back and question things. Question yourself. Questions the actions you take. Questions your feelings. Question your emotions. But sometimes you always don't need an answer. The only time you need answers for the questions that you ask yourself is when you are trying to grow, when you're trying to evolve. It could be as something as, how can I change this habit that I've been stuck in for so long? And you got to sit there with yourself and listen, not to what's loud, but what's quiet. You have to realize that things that are loud are meant to keep you further away from the best version of yourself. The best version of yourself is quiet, it's in stillness, it's beingness. It's just there to guide you. It's there for you when you're down. It's there for you always. But you have to sacrifice a lot to experience that reality. There's not much to do to get there, but it's just the sole focus of directing attention and focus and energy and time into yourself. Because we're too busy going and going and doing, whether it be work, friends, this, that. But then when you sit there with yourself in your bed, about to go to bed, are you comfortable? Are you comfortable being alone? Because if you aren't, there's something within you that you have to deal with. You have to sit there and become aware of why you're uncomfortable being alone. You're never truly alone. There's always some energy, some feelings, some emotions, some thoughts that's there with you at all times. It just feels like you're alone because you're there alone in your room, but you're not alone, you're with yourself. And that's the thing. If you're uncomfortable being with yourself, there's something you have to take action towards within yourself. You have to discover your authentic self. Because when you're uncomfortable with yourself, that uncomfortable feeling is coming from the fact that you're not living your true self. Because if you were living your true self, you wouldn't be uncomfortable while you're with yourself. Sometimes we're so far away from the truth of who we are that it affects our everyday life. Whether it be doing more or doing less, it still affects you when you're not being as authentic as you could be if you knew yourself. There is no reason to change who you are unless you feel called to change who you are. But in truth, the more we do and the more we add to ourselves, the more insane and manic and psycho we become, the more we start to drown ourselves with more and more and more. The more we do, the more we have, the more anything, the more you get farther away from yourself. When it comes to being uncomfortable, being there with yourself, it's because the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions, they're too much to bear with yourself. You don't want to face being authentic with yourself, but that will affect your everyday life as well. If you're not authentic, you will attract inauthentic things, whether that be people, places, things. That's why everything just feels mundane, where everything feels fake. When you're doing all that to drown out the thoughts and feelings and emotions, it's because you're bearing your true self down so that you can live a life of inauthenticity, a life of a mask that you put on every day. And the reason why we don't want to take off that mask is because you're comfortable behind that mask. You don't want people to see the real you. But what help does that do to anyone? What help does that do to yourself is the most important question. If you're too busy and focused on living a life hiding behind a facade, what's the point in living? You're not truly living life if you're not free to do what you please and feel what you feel and think what you think. If you're limiting yourself for other people, places, and things. And that's why we always try to stimulate the mind and do more, add more, so that we can get further from that of which we need to face within ourselves. Let go of the fear, let go of the worry, let go of the perceived stress that is when it comes to being with yourself. Face yourself, be strong, step into weakness so that you can be exposed to who you are fully with all your thoughts and feelings and emotions. that come with being you. Who wouldn't want to be you? You are the only you that exists, here and now. So what is there to be afraid of? Are you worried? Are you scared? Are you worried or scared about other people? What they think of who you truly are? Are you scared of what people are going to say when you take off that mask and fully embrace and express yourself for who you are? Are you worried that the more you step into your authenticity, the more people will step away from you? Don't worry about that. Don't be scared of that. Step into that path because it's what's best for you. No matter if anyone is there to stand by your side or not, because in truth, the real ones that are meant to stay in your life will stay with you for your whole life. No matter how you are as a person. No matter how you are and be in life. No matter what your status is, no matter how much money you have, they stick by you because they're real. You'll be doing yourself a favor when you step into that authentic place of yourself and start to see how people will dissipate from your life. Those ones are fake. They don't like seeing you in your true form. They don't want to stick around when you're doing good because they want what you have. They want that freedom that comes with being authentic. They want that freedom that comes with no barriers put on themselves. They want that freedom that comes with being and stillness. We are all a mirror reflection of each other. Based on how people act towards you. Based on how people talk towards you. Based on what people do to you. The more aware you become of your external world, here now, and your internal world, here and now, you realize how many chains we put on ourselves throughout the years of existing here. How much of a prison we put ourselves in by living the way we used to live. It all starts with you. It all starts with you taking that leap of faith. The first step towards what's best for you and towards who you are. There's no pressure. If you don't treat yourself with compassion and nurture and love and patience, what makes you think anybody would do the same to you? It's just as if you don't love yourself or respect yourself, what makes you think someone's really gonna love and respect you for who you are? Because you have to work on yourself so that you can be an example to the world. So that you can start attracting the individuals that are meant to be in your life rather than to distract you from your life. The more distractions you have, the less you get done in life. And sometimes you're not even meant to complete as much as you can, because it's not a race, it's not a competition. Life is life. You live life and flow with it, no matter where you are in life, no matter how you are in life, no matter how you feel, no matter what you think. You learn from the mistakes that you experience when you experience them, but you stay in the now. You don't think back to what could have or what you could do or what if. And you don't think forward to what if or what could. Don't ask questions about the future. And don't think back to the past, when the only thing you can do is be here now and make the decisions here and now. You can't change the future. You can't change the past. You can only do what you can do now so that you can create the future for yourself. But when you think about what could and what if and this and that, you're just feeding yourself more of more. So that rather you being in that stillness and being, you're stuck within and amongst the chaos that's within you as thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Just be there. Exist. It brings a peace. It brings love. It brings light. It brings freedom when you just are here, existing. Without thought of what you could do more, what you could do better. You're always growing and evolving and learning throughout life, no matter what you experience. It could be as small as something as losing your keys and finding them in a spot that you forgot that you put them in. But then you decide to start putting them in a consistent spot so that you never forget where the keys are. You learned that you need to put them in a consistent spot so you don't lose your keys. You made a mistake and you learned from it, and now you're acting upon what you learned. That's all life is. The more you experience, the more you learn. The more you learn, the better you become, without effort, but within flow, because that's the process of life. That's the cycle. Anyways, I love you. Stay present. Stay safe.